Well, hello, I'm Christopher Chinapu, and I chair the technical committees for governance organizations, that is TC 309. I also chair the technical committee for correctional services, the Correctional Services Technical Committee, and I also chair and vice chair of the technical committee 323, the circular economy.
Hi, good morning. My name is Dr. Grace Anjunar. Currently, I'm chairing the National Mirror Committee ISO TC 93.
I'm Wendell Richards, and I'm chair of the National Technical Committee for Labeling, National Labeling Technical Committee.
Okay, hi. My name is Nigel Hoyao, and I'm the technical director at FlexPack Limited. And the name of the committee is the Biodegradable Plastics Technical Committee.
Hi, I'm Jodiel Evans, Chairperson of the Bamboo and Indigenous Materials Product Standards Technical Committee.
Good day. My name is Orville Johnson, and I am the chair for the National Mirror Committee for the ISO TC 307 committee, which is responsible for blockchain and distributed ledger technology standards.
I am Commander Michael Rodriguez, and I currently chair the National Mirror Committee on ISO CASCO, which is a conformity assessment committee.
My name is Tamara K. Biggs, and I chair the National Mirror Committee for ISO COPOLCO.
My name is Jeffrey Marshall, and I currently chair the National Water Quality Ambient Standards Committee.
My name is Ranford Campbell. I chair the Geography Information Metadata Technical Committee.
Yes, my name is Howard Chin. I'm chairman of the Transportable Gas Containers Group of Standards.
I am Joseph Small, Vice Chair of the National Food Standards Technical Committee.
I'm Professor Winston Davidson, and I'm Chairman of the Medical Facilities Technical Committee of the Bureau of Standards.
My name is Nicholas Taylor. I chair the Motor Vehicle National Technical Committee.
Johan Anton, and I chair the Paint and Surface Coatings Technical Committee.
We made the decision that we'll be actually creating 5 technical standards in a suite of standards addressing correctional services. These 5 areas are 1. Institutional corrections, 2. Community-based corrections, 3. Juvenile corrections, 4. Correctional services for women facilities, and 5. Health and well-being, which addresses the whole question of the health services, substance abuse interventions, and the wide range of interventions associated with health and well-being of persons that are in custody, individuals that are in custody of our correctional services.
To date, achievements of the TC 93. We are currently published the high-fructose corn syrup standard for specifications, and we are also have the draft version of the international standards for starch acetate. Also, we are currently still doing the revision for the strategic business plan, and we are in the draft state of doing the oxidized starches.
Well, to date, we've promulgated the labeling of prepackaged goods, the JS1 Part 1 of 1992 and the JS1 Part 20, labeling of prepackaged goods. These have been updated, and they are now known as JS 349 Part 1, which is the general requirements for labeling, and JS 350, which is the labeling of prepackaged goods.
We achieved the standards of biodegradation according to the ASTM standard for exposing and testing plastics that degrade in the environment by a combination of oxidation and biodegradation. And we have also developed a national standard specification to support this test method.
During my tenure as chairperson for the committee has adopted 3 international standards for bamboo floorings and an international standard for vocabulary related to bamboo and bamboo products. Currently, we are doing research for bamboo ash in concrete.
TC 307 committee on the ISO level has rolled out somewhere in excess of 4 standards. It has paved the way for what was seemingly novel to be standardized in the various economies.
The committee itself was established in 2014 and has commented on draft conformity assessment standards that impact the conformity assessment process implemented in Jamaica. And we have so far submitted 100% of our votes required for the period of ballots of our work plans.
Okay, so far we have voted on a number of ballots, including Guide 46, which speaks to comparative testing of consumer products and related services. We also did the ballot for N645 for Guide 37 and made a proposal for a new field technical activity.
The committee is still in progress, so we have not yet provided a final output. However, we have come to a common understanding of what exactly it means to have ambient standards, ambient guidelines. We've come to agree on the need to have these standards for both the fresh water of Jamaica and the marine waters of Jamaica, along with consideration for brackish waters. And we are looking forward to having the final output by the end of 2022, which will have standards or guidelines presented from objective data that will help to define or delineate the ambient water quality of Jamaica.
We have draft the geography information metadata standard, which will be adopted to become Jamaica local standard.
Well, we've brought into existence a new standard, which is for the composite gas containers, transportable gas containers, for the fiberglass storage containers for cooking gas and other things.
We have had as many as 13 meetings in the past year, in spite and despite COVID. We have had a number of standards that have been submitted to the council for review, and we have had a number of standards that are currently at the TC level that are being reviewed, to include the poultry standard, for example.
The achievements involve a number of products. First, the services and specification for diagnostic imaging services. These specific and general requirements for diagnostic medical facilities. The next standard that has also been published are the standard specification for telemedicine. And these services and these standards have been published.
Some of the achievements to date are I helped with the wrapping up of the technical standards for assembling of motorcycles, and we're now working on wrapping up the brake fluid standards for motor vehicles.
To date, we have been involved in the development of a major standard, the draft Jamaican standard on the specification of the limit of lead in paints and similar surface coatings. We've also done some adoption of regional and international standards that support the development of that first major standard.
So currently we have our agreement and our committee drafts for 2 of the 5 suite of standards, which is the institutional corrections draft and the community-based corrections draft. We are currently in the process of reviewing the correctional services standards for women and the correctional services standards for juvenile. Later on in the year, by about November, we will complete the Correctional Services Technical Standard for Health and Well-being.
Well, our work plan includes the starches, as stated. The TC 93 deals with the starches. So it's from the native starch to the oxidized starch. So for the native starch, one may say, what native starch? The native starch basically covers the starch in its natural state without being modified chemically, physically, or by any means. So those are the native starch, which we actually do covers. Also, we are doing or covering the modified starch.
The current work plan includes the precautionary labeling of hazardous industrial chemicals, JS1 Part 17, and the labeling of household chemicals, JS1 Part 15. We're also looking at JS1 Part 26, which is the labeling of toilet tissue products and wipes. Okay, the estimated completion for this work is March 2023.
To date, the committee has developed more than 40 standards to support the bamboo industry. We're currently working on standards for bamboo charcoal, bamboo sticks, and bamboo woven products.
All right, since most countries have already charted a path for digital currency, we are working on getting a standardized presentation template to follow on each of the standards that are developed, so persons can have an idea how to understand, interpret, and implement based on the standards.
We're looking at standards, new standards that are coming out. We've been working on 45,001, and in fact, our technical secretary, Mrs. Scott Brown, she actually has worked on a number of the technical committees with ISO working groups and 283 technical committee, and they have in fact just won an award for being very proactive and innovative in developing the ISO 45000 standard.
As a member of the committee, per se, the most rewarding experience is that we get to interact with persons from different organizations, different capacity, and to build a better knowledge base.
Well, for this committee, we are subdivided into two committees that are focusing on freshwater quality and surface water quality. And both committees are looking at the available water quality data for Jamaica historically and current, and trying to assess that data to see how best to determine the statistical spread for each rate for the range or the upper limit for each ambient guideline.
The committee is currently finalizing the draft geography information metadata standard.
So we have a number of standards that we are reviewing, and as I mentioned earlier, the poultry standard is one of those that we're working on, and we're scheduled to work on other standards going forward to include a standard for feed in the near future. Animal feed, that is.
Well, the work plan so far is that we're working on viscosity of different types of fluids, the hardness of different types of rubber used on motor vehicles, and then we should move on to temperature devices in motor vehicles.
What is really rewarding is to see how our local members are being absorbed into leadership positions across the International Technical Working Group.
My achievement or my excitement for it is just to see us coming together and publishing the standards for the different starch groups.
Well, it's really the vigorous discussions now we have, the scientific work that goes in, the research, the discussions, the debates, scientific debates that we have, okay? Because what we want to ensure at the end of the day is that we have a rigorous document that could stand the test of time, and which also would help protect the health and safety of the consumers, as well as ensure there's equity in trade. So we have a lot of discussions and a lot of debates, sometimes arguments, but good arguments, because at the end of the day, we really want to have a quality product
Most rewarding experience is really the participation, the level of participation of the team, and their anxiety to get things done properly.
Developing standards for the growing bamboo industry is crucial for safeguarding all stages of the process. Chairing the committee has been a great opportunity for me to lead change in this wide-reaching area and setting the stage for knowledge sharing.
Persons are participating and experiencing collaborative effort of developing the standards in different parts of the world.
As chair, as a member since 2014, the most rewarding aspect of it is learning, listening and learning from other professionals on their experiences and how they go about doing things, and the lively discussions and input that happens when we are discussing draft standards.
My most rewarding experience thus far has been when we finally achieved agreement with all team members on the way forward as to how best to assess the standards, how best to move forward, to say that we will be working within these certain parameters and not trying to fix everything, because that wouldn't necessarily be our mandate. But when we were able to agree on what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, I know for a fact that we saw the clear way forward to complete this task within the appointed time.
Chairing a committee with a wide cross-section of technocrats, persons drawn from different government agencies, department, private sector, academia, we were able to draft on those knowledge and able to develop the geography information metadata standard.
Oh, well, when you get to see a new standard put in, that's very interesting.
To see the cut and thrust and the rigorous debate that takes place to and fro about a standard. And when we get to consensus, that's something to celebrate. And as we publish one standard at a time, that's something that's awesome.
My rewarding experience may be summed up with the following. First of all, the representation of the stakeholders, 26 stakeholders who in fact participate in the rigor of this process and who attend and who contribute in the discussions is very gratifying.
Being able to lead a group of like-minded persons that has a very positive outlook on motor vehicles being operated on our roads and trying to make our roads much more safer and align ourselves with the safety standards that exist worldwide.
Well, as a chair, I really enjoy working with a diverse group of people to actualize the process of standard development and national development. But to date, I really have been proud of the work we've done on that standard that limits the content of lead in Jamaican paints and similar coatings.
My main advice would be to get involved because, again, you help to shape these standards, and in helping to shape these standards, not only are you learning, not only are you developing, not only are you improving, but you're also helping to shape the policies, the processes, the practices that will be the next practice. That way you also are gaining a greater insight as to how you can help the persons in your own technical field to improve their practices.
My encouragement is to have different persons from the various sectors that we think or have the likelihood that it will affect, so that they can put their inputs into it, so that when we do the final compilation, it will reflect all.
Well, they can join a committee of their choice. There are several committees, several mirror committees, and you can lend your knowledge, lend your expertise. I myself, I learn a lot from the industry. It's really rewarding at the end of the day. You have to learn a lot. You increase your technical knowledge, learning from the experts in the industry as well. They learn from us, and we learn from them as well. So it's really rewarding in the end. And you will have contributed to national development.
If you have the experience and the knowledge, it would be very good to share it with the other people for the benefit of Jamaica. And this is what the Bureau of Standards stands for, basically. That's what they do.
The sustainable growth of an industry that supports the use of bamboo and indigenous materials is critical to cultural retention. In this regard, I encourage everyone who has an interest in safeguarding this traditional custom to reach out to the Bureau of Standards to be part of the process.
I would recommend that persons who have the skill set, who are interested in the field of standardization, who are hoping to add value to the ecosystem of technical development across the world, join our technical committee. Come and join us. You will never regret it, and the experiences of seeing your thought implemented is invaluable.
Get involved. Get involved, especially if you have a focus and a belief in standards, to be consistent in your management systems. There's a lot to be done, and as a professional, I believe it's your duty really to get more involved with the development and the implementation of standards.
My advice would be that person should join a committee. It would help in different aspects of your life. You'd learn a little bit more about standards and how it works, the importance of it in our daily living, and also to get a little bit more knowledge in different areas.
I would advise you to volunteer to be a part. It's very exciting work. It's very essential work. It may be a bit of an addition to your duties, but if the committee is fully aligned and properly assembled, then you'll be able to work with a diverse group of persons. You'll be able to provide input into something that will have a long-lasting legacy in Jamaica, and you will definitely grow professionally and personally from the experience of being on such a committee.
I would say it is very time-consuming. You need to be dedicated, and you also have to be able to deal with persons from different backgrounds. You also will understand that as a chairman, there are times when you have to make decisions, and therefore some of the decisions you will have to rely on your team because you are not the expert in all areas.
Well, put it this way, you have to use everything you've learned over the time, as well as your experience. So that expands your mind a little bit.
I would say to any expert out there in the field of food, whether you're in crop agriculture or in food animals, in the manufacturing sector, all levels, in retail and logistics of food, including government and regulatory authorities like public health and, for example, the veterinary services division and all, I would encourage them to participate in this process if it is their passion to see food and food that is safe and nutritious, that enhances the food security of our nation and our region, and to see Jamaica expanding and exporting and earning hard-earned foreign exchange. I would encourage them to participate.
The advice that I'll give is that it is necessary for you to understand the very important role of the Standards, Bureau of Standards, Jamaica. Without standards, we are not, as professionals, going to be able to deliver best practice healthcare to our patients.
I would advise persons who are not members of technical committees to, if they are contacted to be members, find out what attributes they need to be a part of the committee and see if they are suited for that committee or any other committee. Because I think we need to be contributing to our island in a way and using our specific knowledge to guide the laws and the standards that want to be created.
I would say that standard development is one of the easiest ways to drive national development. And I believe that we who have the capacity, the education, the experience, and the interest have a duty to contribute to Jamaica and to contribute to that national development, to drive all aspects of life, health, safety, processes, and products. And if you have the capacity, you should contribute to that process. It is very rewarding.